God bless you all in Jesus' mighty name. I wanted to talk about fads, trends, how to be trendy, and the things that people cannot see. For example, I was in a hospital and there were substitution patients, and like they wear trousers with the words addicted all over them. This is so foolish, it's unbelievable. So I'm telling you now a story from Tom Riddle. When he did his rituals, he would always wear several different t-shirts. Why? It's not that cold in England and it was summer. So why did he wear several different t-shirts? Because he used an ancient grimoire, an ancient magic text, and the grimoire said, use sublime protection. So if you read Crowley, it's full of these old words that nobody knows what it means. What is sublime protection? Sublime protection, for example, could be a t-shirt with the sun on it. The sun is number one in the planets. Then comes the moon. The moon is not that good because it has a duality to it. It has a waning and a waxing to it. So the number three is Jupiter. Jupiter is extremely powerful for money. And riches and health, all the positive things. And I think Saturn is like 6 or 9, I'm not sure. And all the planets are very powerful entities. So sublime protection, the grimoire started with do the ritual in this way and look towards the east and make the altar towards the west and so on and so on and so forth, and use sublime protection. So what is sublime protection? It's an armor, like the armor of God, the breastplate of righteousness and so on. But the sublime protection that the magicians are using are t-shirts with, for example, a planet that corresponds protection from the spirit that you are calling up. So let's say you would be calling up, I don't know, some spirit. You would at least use a t-shirt with the sun on it, so that your subconscious mind, if there even is such a thing, that's another story, if there even is a subconscious mind. Anyway, so that this represents protection, this represents the sun, this represents the number one. Mathematics, by the way, is not something that was invented by human beings. It has always been, and mathematics goes way deeper than we learned in school. There's a whole occult science to numbers. So certain numbers are just used to increase cash flow. Certain numbers are used to always increase money, never decrease money. So you would always use certain amount of money, like $23.444, which represents some entity corresponding to money. You could also, for example, if you need money for a trip to India, let's say, you could call on the entity Bur, which is the entity of travel and the protector, or the demon of traveling. It looks like a round face with many legs on it. So it's basically like a wheel, but with legs. That's Bur, and you could ask Bur for money to get a train ticket, and he will provide it to you. If you do the ritual right, these things just work. And the only real um, um, secret in magic, because everybody by now knows about visualization, manifestation, and so on. Not everybody, but many people. But the only real big secret in magic is the use of supernatural spirits. So if you see a street magician like Dynamo or Chris Angel Mind Freak, they are using this kind of magic that is called supernatural spirit magic. And there are many lectures by Tom Riddle about that topic. And these entities are very, very powerful. I would not underestimate it. But if you find Christ also, don't lose sleep over the demonic. You have defeated them. Don't get obsessed with that. I know that I am kind of guilty of that a little bit because I often talk about the demonic, but I think for someone who is trapped in the intellect like I was, the only thing to wake him up is to show him that obviously it exists. Therefore, the other side of the coin does also exist. So that's something that I wanted to talk about. Sublime protection. That's one of the things that's always in magic grimoires. Use sublime protection, which is just wearing a t-shirt with, for example, the moon or the sun or Jupiter or anything that stands for good, especially if you're working with evil entities, so that you are protected by your sublime protection, which that, for example, would represent the sun in my subconscious mind, would protect me with the number +1. +1 is a very good thing because the number +2, like the moon, it has a duality to it. And there's something funny about the number 2. The number 3, for example, would be way better than the number 2 because it's kind of like a circular number. So it corresponds to the clock on the wall. It's like 24 hours of the day. You can divide it by 3, 6, and 12. So it's like the circular numbers like 3, 6, and 9. Also, 12 is interesting because 12 uh, times 12 is 144, which is a very important number. Also, 13 times 13 is a Masonic number, it's 169. It represents the Masonic on a numerological level. So that's 13 squared is 169, and 12 squared represents all the good, and 13 squared represents all the bad. So thank you for listening, and God bless.